we shall start with agenda item 1, apologies for absence and declaration of substitute members. Please, Tony.
So yes, just one apology from Councillor Jean Cash, and Councillor Libby Honeyman is substituting. So,
lovely.
Councillor Cash.
You, Tony. Agenda item 2 is disclosure of interest, disclosure by members of any disclosable pecuniary interest and interest other than pecuniary interest as defined under the Seaford Town Council Code of Conduct and the Localism Act of 2011 in relation to matters on the agenda. Is that all a no? No? Right, okay. Number 3, public participation. I won't read that out, but I do believe we haven't got any public, have we? No, right. I'll skip that one. And we'll go straight to agenda 4, which is the 2020 Seaford Christmas Magic revisions, to consider the report 6220, presenting the committee with alternative plans for the 2020 Seaford Christmas Magic event, pages 3 to 9. Now, I'm sure you've all read your agenda, and without me reading it all out, I'm hoping that everybody, if you all nod your head, has read the committee's recommended 2, and there's 3 recommendations. So before I open the floor to the councillors, I would like to hand over to Tony to briefly speak us through this report and, if necessary, give us any updates that have occurred since the report was written. Over to you, Tony.
Thanks. I'm going to hand over to Sharon and Eddie on this, because even though this report says by Tony Jackson, it is a work of mainly Eddie and Sharon and Georgia, who have done a really good job of turning this around in such a short amount of time. It is, I mean, it has got everything in there, I think, that we wanted to get across. I mean, obviously, this has come about because we feel it is unworkable to have Christmas magic in the town centre. And only on Friday, Lewis have stopped their night shopping night in the over Christmas. So I think a lot of people are thinking the same thing. The Crouch does lend itself to this, and yeah, we think we can make it work. I mean, one thing just to say though, this is a kind of a snapshot of where we are now. Things seem to be changing daily, so we can be going ahead and trying to organise this, but of course the decision could be taken out of our hands at the end of the day, depending on what restrictions there are. So yeah, it's all I've got to say. I don't know, it was Sharon and Eddie, would you like to say a few things at all? No, I've got shaking of heads.
No, I was going to say yes. Yeah, after we've met with the committee, I'm Ellie, by the way, I'm Sharon's maternity cover. Hi.
Hello.
Yeah, it just became really clear that having a market and having it to be fenced off with a one-way system is just going to interrupt the town so much within that day, that it was clear that we had to think of plan B, and plan B is the Crouch the Crouch Garden, sorry, ornamental garden and mini pitch.
I think one of the things is, it has been proved successful with the boot fair, having a market with a one-way system that's managed, and we've not had any negative feedback about the boot fair. Everybody seems to be happy with the measures we put in place for it. So I see this as being a similar sort of event in many ways.
Okay, thank you, Tony, thank you, Sharon, and thank you, Ellie. So I'd like now to for a discussion, I'd like to hand over to you, councillors, if you would like to ask any questions of either 3 of the officers. So I'll hand over to the floor now. No? Oh, yes, Councillor Walraven.
Yeah, I know we're in uncertain times, but if we're going to try and make Christmas magic happen, I think what's been set out in this report, which I congratulate our officers, making this report so clear to us, and I think it's worth a try. It could even be when we're back to normal that this might work better than what we've had like last year and previous years. Because I did notice in the report that some of the shopkeepers reckon their takings are down on Christmas Magic Day, and really the purpose of Christmas Magic Day, not just to have it family, welcome families and that, it is to help to boost the trade in the town. So I'm very for this, and as Tony says, the Rotary boot fairs, the last two have been excellent because they've managed the crowd control. I think the only negative which has come back on the boot fairs is that people had to queue and wait and to get in. But the last one was so successful, and yeah, I'm really for this, and I just hope that that we'll be able to do it at Christmas.
Okay, thank you, Councillor. I noticed. Okay, thank you, Councillor Hayder. You've got your hand up.
Yes, I think excellent idea. It will be very nice. That's what I am thinking, because of the field, and it will be totally different. And one way and turns another way exists. It will be very good, excellent idea, because of the lots of problem in the town center doing the Christmas magic, because we block the Church Street, and post office people, Royal Mail stuck, so many other things as well. And this year, especially COVID-19, is impossible. It will be too schools and too narrow, and when the passing people, pushing each other, it will be excellent idea. I am very happy and happy to propose this item.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Councillor Hayder. Oh, so, all right, yes, Councillor Hayder. Yes.
Well, I like to edit. I think it's an excellent idea, because it's wonderfully laid down, and entry one way, exit other way. I think if it is successful, maybe in future we can do thinking to do again same again out of the Broad Street, because Broad Street is not enough space, and a lot of shops they complain, and I think it will be a wonderful idea to do thinking in future resolution if we are successful this year. Thank you very much, and thank you for whoever do this excellent idea. I think is wonderful. Thank you.
Oh, okay, thank you, Councillor Hayder. Councillor Honeyman.
Thank you, Chair. Yes, I think it's a good idea to get this away from the shops, because obviously they don't want to do any, can't lose any revenue at the moment at all. No. My only concern about putting it in the crouch is where the suggested areas are, just from a practical point of view. With the ornamental beds be roped off so members of the public can't go through those, will there be matting to put down between the stalls, because obviously the car boots have been happening in the summer, so the ground will recover, whereas if this is happening in December, the ground possibly will be wet. It's going to take a lot longer to recover if there's lots of compaction on the ground. So I just want to know what's going to be put in. I may have missed it because I've been trying to read this on my phone. What's going to be put in to actually make sure the ground and the grass and the beds are protected, because that will take a long time to recover with all people. So I just wonder what matting, because a lot of big open gardens will put matting down to protect it for the public. So I wanted to know what was going on with those areas, please.
Lovely, thank you. Tony, Sharon, or Ellie?
If I could jump in. I mean, certainly the flower beds, we would look at roping them off so no damage comes to those, with 100%. With the matting, it is something that we have talked about, but we just don't know whether financially it'll be viable to have it this year. It is something we'll further look into, because it could be something that could be used on other things, such as Eddie's film shoots and things on Seaford Head. So it could be one of those things. It could be a good asset for the council, but at this time, I don't know. We don't know the cost of it, but it's something we'll look into. With regard to the with the ground, we're going to have to monitor it, and if the ground is bad, if the weather's bad, as we said in the report, we'll just have to pull it. That's all we can do. You know, we just hope for the best. This is something new and something unprecedented, and we're just going to have to see. I think, you know, none of us want to cause any damage to anywhere in the crouch. So so no, we're just going to have to monitor it and take a call on it. But in the meantime, we will look into the matting just to see, you know, whether it'll be feasible or not.
Yeah, okay, thank you, Tony. Any other councillor got any other questions? Yes, Councillor Meek.
I may have missed this, but are people going to be expected to wear masks when they go around, rather like at the Rotary car boot sales? And also, I just wondered, I think stalls are being charged for, aren't they? Is that right?
Yeah.
I just wondered if there was any room for any kind of charities to have a stall for nothing or whatever.
Thank you, Councillor Meek.
I'm happy to answer that, or happy for Sharon to come in on that.
Sharon?
Tony.
You're leaving it? Okay. We have got a certain amount of charity stalls. I've got a feeling it's 9, am I right there?
Yeah.
Top of my head. And
Yeah.
they do have their stalls at a reduced amount of money. Obviously, we do need to recoup our costs, and we do need to charge a charity, same as we do with any other event. So at the moment, not charging the charities really isn't an option. Going forward, maybe it could be something we could look into, but certainly for this year, we just can't afford to do it, especially in the financial position the council are in at the moment.
And the masks, we both discussed.
Oh, the mask. Sorry about the mask.
We might have to-
This will come up in Bob's risk assessment. I think the likelihood is, the way things are going, masks will have to be worn.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Tony. Any other councillors would like to speak? No. Well, I would just like to add just a bit of feedback from when I read the report, and my initial thoughts when this came up for discussion, and me and Tony spoke about holding the meeting initially due to the fact that it was decided that it couldn't probably go ahead in the town centre. So obviously I had the same concerns as everybody else. I felt that maybe the ambience of holding Christmas Magic in the town centre would be lost if we hold it in the Crouch. Also, bad weather leading up to the event could, you know, eventually cancel it, because Tony obviously said, you know, it would have to be cancelled because you can't run it in severe bad weather there, whereas the town centre, hard grounds, you can. And then there was the sort of more positive was the fact that I liked the idea at 2.3, the proposal where it says to have a small vintage fair with rides. I quite liked that. I thought that sounded that would give the Crouch some ambience. And also the fact that, could I ask you, Tony, will the stalls be only available to sell Christmas stuff? We're not going to have anything commercialised coming down, because I don't agree with that. I think it should be as Christmassy as it possibly can. And the only other thing is that you are having, at the moment at 2.12, you are seeking sponsorship to obviously self-fund this event. I wondered if we could have an update on how are you finding this, because again, at the last page, you're saying that at, what is it, 3.8, financial appraisal, it is, if officers are unsuccessful in keeping the event within budget, the event would not be able to go ahead. And again, 3.9, if there's any surplus sponsorship funds, it will then be asked of full council to transfer it over to the earmarked reserves. So that was really just my feedback on holding it in the Crouch. So Tony, could I have, or Sharon, or Ed?
I'm going to hand over to my colleagues here about the stalls and the sponsorship.
The sponsorship, we have approached Bellways again this year, because they've obviously had to stop work and just introduce them back into the town. So we've emailed the contact that we have from last year, and if I don't hear back from her this week, I will chase her up and to see where we are with all of that. We have got a few other local businesses that we wanted to, once we've had agreement that we can move, then we can approach them and go forward, because we didn't want to start asking too many people or too larger companies and then have to kind of go back on ourselves if things weren't agreed in tonight's meeting for the sponsorship. So, and we've started looking at different grants as well for the lantern in the shop windows to be able to be funded.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Yeah, following on from that, yeah, because last year, or any Christmas magic, we invite the shop holders, the shops, we run a competition with the mayor. Are we still going to go ahead with that? Encourage them to have Christmas windows, because that's always really popular.
Yeah, definitely. We work on that with the Chamber of Commerce. So again, it's something that once we've had everything cleared, we know what we're working on and who's can be working on which bits.
Yeah.
Lovely. Yeah, because I think that, sorry, Ellie.
Oh, no. I was just going to say, we're hoping to have the light switch on the night before, and that would also be the judging point for the mayor to go around and judge all the window competitions.
And windows, yeah. I mean, I think that's a way to really encourage the town centre to get involved in something that they love that. They really do push the boat out with the shop. I had a shop and I know what that's like. It's half the battle of bringing the customers in. So I'm pleased about that. Yep, okay. Right, before I move to the actual recommendations, is there any other questions that you councillors would like to ask any of the officers? No, not at all, right. So, right, there are 3 recommendations. I would like to take the, oh, sorry, Councillor Honeyman.
Or I just thought, I didn't see in the map. Will any of this be in the Peace Garden by any chance? Or is it just the, no?
At the moment, no.
No. Thank you.
Lovely. Okay, thanks. Thank you, Councillor Honeyman. I'd like to take all 3 separate. Oh, sorry, Councillor Warmhaven.
Just something which has occurred to me. Obviously, we're going to have more marshals this year. Will we be able to cover that? Because of getting, you know, sort of policing the market and how many people we let in. I know we haven't got the road closures, but which, you know, probably can ask like the Bonfire Society, who usually are very good at marshalling.
Yeah.
Bonfire.
Just a thought.
Yeah, the Bonfire have offered their services to us again this year. And Sussex Events have got their staff, we've got our officers, and then any councillors, and the Chamber of Commerce last year helped us as well and gave quite a few volunteers. So I think
Rotary.
Yeah, and the Rotary, and with the fencing area that we have, and the entrance and the exit points, hopefully we won't need a lot of marshals. Just be dotted people in their high vises around the area.
Okay, thank you, Sharon. Is any other, no, I didn't see any other hands going up. No, right. As I said, I'd like to take the recommendations singularly. So the committee's recommended to the first one. We have agreed that the Town Council officers work with Christmas Magic Committee to deliver the event as presented in the report. Do I have a proposer and seconder, please? So I have a proposer from Councillor Walraven and a seconder from John Edson, Councillor Edson, and all those in favour? Okay, I think that's pretty much carried. Thank you. We have recommendation 2. Agree that Town Council officers, in consultation with the Chair of Community Services, may deviate from the event plan as presented in the report where required due to health and safety concerns, COVID-19 restrictions, or other such similar factors outside of the Town Council's control. Again, I need a proposer and a seconder. I can propose this. Okay, and Councillor Webb, seconder, thank you very much. And we have recommendation 3, recommend that full council agree that any surplus sponsorship funds from Seaford Christmas Magic 2020 be placed in an earmarked reserve for future years Seaford Christmas Magic events. Proposal.
Order, Chair. We didn't vote on recommendation 2. You had a
Oh, sorry, I did the proposal and seconder, sorry. Sorry, too keen. Right, sorry, I'm going to have to rewind there. Sorry, after Councillor Webb's seconder, could we please all in favour? Okay, that's carried. Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Walraven. And then again, number 3, can I have a proposer, seconder? Councillor Honeyman. Okay, Councillor Meek for seconder, thank you very much. All those in favour? That's carried. Okay, thank you very much. I don't think there's anything to add, so the meeting closes at 7:26. Okay, thank you everybody for attending this evening.